Why doesn't our government just print more money? It is a question we all have asked as kids. We didn't know the answer back then, but now we know. We know that printing trillions and trillions of dollars can lead to a downfall of the economy. The government also knows this, but still, they are printing money like there's no tomorrow. What happens when we print trillions of dollars? How long can we keep printing money before it destroys the economy? Is inflation around the corner? If you are searching for the answers, you are at the right place. Today, we are going to show you what a money printing spree can do to the economy of a country. But before you learn about hyperinflation, pay attention to the big red subscription button. As soon as you click it, you will be taken to the wealthy side, the life you deserve, where you'll find hundreds of videos. These videos contain the answers to almost any question you may have. There are also daily updates, so if you want to stay tuned, remember to turn on notifications. What is hyperinflation? Hyperinflation is a period when prices go up really, really fast, as in faster than rabbits. When hyperinflation happens, the government has lost control over its printing presses. At this point, the government will be printing so much money that the value of the currency itself is at risk of collapsing. This can lead to a death spiral where people hoard goods and the economy grinds to a halt. In this economic storm, the prices rise so fast that the currency is worth less and less every day. If a normal gallon of milk costs $4 today and $6 tomorrow, that's normal inflation. But if it costs $100 tomorrow, that's hyperinflation. Basics of printing money. If you have ever held a $20 bill in your hand, you have held a scrap of paper with just as much value as 0.06 troy ounce of gold. Our modern-day paper money is just that, pieces of paper with a promise printed on them that they will be backed up by something valuable like gold or silver. The government has the power to create money, and they do this through the Federal Reserve. The Fed controls the amount of money in the economy by increasing or decreasing the nation's supply of money. This is done in two ways: by increasing the supply of money via money printing and decreasing the supply of money by collecting money back. It means the government has full control over its money printing. If they want, they can make more money to slash it into the economy. But this just leads to inflation. The more money they print, the less it is worth. Is hyperinflation good or bad? The printing of money is often done to spur economic growth. It is done in times of war when countries need money to support their troops. It is also done when there is a financial crisis and banks collapse, making it harder to loan money out. The government can continue to spend by printing more money and giving the people the essentials they need. But this is the only solution in a severe crisis, such as a war, natural disaster, or economic downturn. In normal times, the printing of money is a bad thing. It leads to hyperinflation, obviously, which threatens the economy. People stop spending money because they know that the dollar is losing value. Businesses stop investing because they know the dollar will be worth less in the future. One example is Germany's hyperinflation of 1920. In the early 1920s, many people began buying gold in Germany because it had collapsed in value, and many people were worried about hyperinflation. In 1921, Germany printed money to pay reparations after World War I. So happened the Weimar Republic hyperinflation. The value of the German mark fell and prices rose. So here's the headline you need to know. Printing money doesn't solve anything. It just adds to the problem. Problems caused by hyperinflation keep piling up. Cost-push inflation is an example. When prices are going up, there is a decrease in industrial output because businesses will not be able to afford raw products anymore. This leads to an increase in the cost of goods and services because companies have to pay more for the goods they make. This is known as cost-push inflation. This puts pressure on suppliers as well, which leads to further price hikes and eventually hyperinflation. Long-term effects of hyperinflation. Hyperinflation is a sign of a country in trouble. It can be caused by a government's poor fiscal policies, a drastic change in the value of a country's currency, or a combination of both. Once inflation gets out of hand, it can be very difficult to stop. When people lose faith in their country's economy when they see hyperinflation, they might try to leave the country and transfer their money to a more stable economy. It can make the value of the country's currency fall even further. It can also cause a decrease in foreign investment. The outcome is a decreased flow of capital into the country, destroying the economy even more. What's going on? Is hyperinflation coming? There are signs that hyperinflation could happen in some countries. The US dollar has fallen in value over the past few years. This could lead to inflation. It is also a possible scenario if Bitcoin as a global currency gains traction as many expect it will. The price of Bitcoin could rise without limit, leading to hyperinflation. If that happens, you'll see prices soar out of control, and the value of your Bitcoins drop to zero or less than zero. Hyperinflation is a real risk if Bitcoin becomes the dominant global currency. Even though different countries have different economic structures, some similar factors can contribute to inflation in them at the same time. Enjoying till now? Please hit the subscribe button now, like, share, and comment. And yes, keep watching. Let's look at those factors that are currently contributing to hyperinflation. Take the war in Ukraine as an example. The crisis in Ukraine made the USA and Europe realize they should end their dependency on Russia for oil and gas. This led to increased energy prices all around the world. But the increased prices were not only limited to fuel and energy. Food prices and the cost of raw materials have also soared high. The pandemic added a perfect bolt of lightning to this coming storm. Every country suffered from increased prices due to increased debt. The pandemic ended, but all these factors are still affecting the world's economy. The world is in a state of economic anxiety. Economic upheaval is nothing new, but there are some signs that we are headed into uncharted territory. Some experts say that the U.S. government has ways to limit the effects of hyperinflation. For example, the government can raise taxes. It can also try to reduce the flow of money in the economy. This can help prevent inflation from rising. But if the government keeps printing money, it could lead to a complete and total meltdown of the economy. How many times has it happened before? Hyperinflation has happened in many different countries throughout history. The most infamous cases of hyperinflation happened in Germany, the Netherlands, and Zimbabwe. We have already discussed Germany. Let's see what happened in the other two countries. In Zimbabwe, the government printed too much money in the 2000s. This led to hyperinflation. It reached its peak in 2008 when the inflation rate hit 79,600,000,000%. The country stayed in a state of hyperinflation till 2009 when the government decided to leave its currency. Another example is the hyperinflation that occurred in the Netherlands in 1634 when tulips became a highly sought-after commodity in the European nation. An odd fact, right? It is the earliest example of hyperinflation ever known. Could cryptocurrency play a role in preventing hyperinflation? With the recent rise in the popularity of cryptocurrency, there has been a lot of speculation about how it could affect economies and financial systems. Cryptocurrency can help curb the deficit and provide a liquid market for individuals to invest in. It can prevent hyperinflation by enabling countries to maintain a fixed currency value. When it comes to this particular issue, countries that are on a budget deficit can actually turn to cryptocurrency to produce a stable market, which would prevent hyperinflation in the country. Some countries are starting to take notice and are looking into whether or not it could play a role in preventing hyperinflation. Around the world, some countries are already starting to use blockchain technology and cryptocurrency to finance their budget deficit. Colombia is one such country that has been using the power of Bitcoin to stimulate controlled economic growth. Remedies and solutions. Hyperinflation can be a huge problem for any country. Without steps to control it, inflation can increase the costs of goods and services and lead to serious issues like a recession. Now, you must be thinking about how we can fix hyperinflation once it's already happening. Let us answer that for you. Fixing hyperinflation is easier said than done. It can take decades to repair the damage done by hyperinflation. To combat hyperinflation, governments should also find ways to increase the supply of money while also holding down prices. First, they can raise interest rates and make it more expensive for people to borrow money. It will then be harder for people to get loans and make money. This will help slow down inflation. This is the monetary policy. Second, the government needs to implement a fiscal policy. It means that the government needs to focus on things like taxation and spending. It will affect how much money people have and how hard it is to get money. The government must also make sure that the dollars in circulation are worth something. It can do this by promising to repay debts in dollars. This will help to strengthen the value of the dollar. The basic steps of this whole scheme include raising the interest rates first and increasing taxes next. After that, the government should start cutting public spending, tightening credit availability, and reducing the availability of loanable funds. Finally, they can tax items such as gold or foreign currency to discourage hoarding, which makes it easier to pay for things like food and other necessities. In extreme cases of hyperinflation, people may resort to bartering or even going without food altogether to try to buy things with their cash reserves. In these situations, ordinary citizens need to remember that even if their money becomes worthless overnight, their basic needs still need to be met. You should also keep in mind that not every expert is on the same page when it comes to the prediction of hyperinflation. Some still believe that the currency will rebound sometime in the future and that hyperinflation is not inevitable. They believe that hyperinflation rarely happens, and now is not that time. Did you enjoy the video? Please hit the subscribe button, like, share, and comment.